And I have a fun workout plan for us today. So we're going to do 3 rounds today. We're going to do 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest / transition time. We do not need any equipment today. And we are going to do 3 upper body movements and then 3 lower body movements. If you have space to be up against the wall, we are going to be doing wall sits at the end. If not, I have alternatives for y'all because as you can see, I don't have as many walls here on camera for us. So I'm going to go ahead real quick with our demos and then we'll get right into the circuit. So first movement here we're going to do some plank to pike with a toe tap. So on our hands and toes on the ground, keeping our hands beneath our shoulders. We're going to push our hips up, tap one toe back down, and then to the other side, tap our toe and back down. So starting with that one for our first movement. Movement number 2 is going to be a pike push-up. So staying up on our hands and our toes, hips in the air here, bringing our head down towards the ground, pushing back up. So getting our head as close to the ground as we can and pushing back up. So that's going to be our second movement. And then last upper body movement here, we're going to do some plank rotations. So this can either be hands and knees, hands and toes, elbows and toes as well. And so if we're on our hands and toes here, we're going to be here. We're going to open up towards the ceiling, back down, and then the other side coming around. Or we can do the elbows like this, or we can do hands and knees opening up and then opening up. So those are our upper body movements today. And then we're going to stand up. We're going to do lots of squats today. So first movement here, we're going to do a squat, 1.5 squat with a pulse here. So 1.5 squat, we're up, standing nice and tall, coming all the way down, halfway up, all the way down, all the way back up. So that's going to be our 1.5 squat. If you want to do like halfway and then do a little pulse and then stand up, feel free to do that as well. And then after that, we're going to do curtsy lunge with a squat in between. So staying here in our space, we're going to go back behind diagonal, hips are forward, stepping back, squat, and back, and squat. So that's going to be our 5th movement. And last but not least, we're going to do a wall sit. So if you have space on the wall, definitely do that. We want at least 90-degree angles in our hips and in our knees with the wall sit. No touching your legs, or you can do a hold in the bottom of your squat positioning. Whatever is available to you, whatever feels good, that's what I like you to do. So that is going to be our whole circuit for today. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our warm-up. So we're going to go ahead, making our way to the top of our space. We're going to start with the world's greatest stretch. So we're going to go ahead and interlace our fingers, grab onto one of our knees, pulling our knee towards our chest. And we're going to go ahead and step back into our reverse lunge. Back leg stays nice and straight. Hands coming down on the inside of our front foot. Back leg stays nice and straight. Nice big deep inhale. And exhaling, opening up towards our front leg, gazing past our hands. So instead of being here, reaching up, turning our thumb behind or towards our spine. So we're looking at our palm. And we're going to go ahead and exhale, plant our hand outside of our front foot. Bring our back foot a little bit closer and push our hips up into our hamstring stretch. And we can go ahead and exhale. Bring your feet together, push the ground away, and stand on up. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to do the same thing on the other leg. So interlace our fingers, grabbing onto our opposite leg. Pulling our knee towards our chest. Oh, there goes my balance. And we're going to go ahead and exhale, step back, reverse lunge. Hands coming down on the inside of our front foot. Back leg stays nice and straight here. Nice big deep inhale. And exhaling, opening up towards our front leg. We're looking past our hand. So instead of just reaching out, again, turning your thumb towards your spine. So we're looking at our palm. And exhale, planting outside of our front foot. Bring our back foot a little bit closer and push our hips up into our hamstring stretch. We're gonna do a nice big deep inhale and exhale. Bring our feet together, push the ground away, and stand on up. All right, when we're ready, we're gonna go ahead. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of an inchworm here so we can walk out into our plank to pike to really warm up our shoulders. We got lots of plank things coming up here. So let's go ahead. When we're ready, we're gonna push our hips back, bring our hands to the ground into our forward fold. And then let's go ahead, walk our hands out into our plank. And then we're gonna go ahead and push our hips up into our plank position here. So let's go ahead, start to pedal our heels, open up our calves. Really push one heel into the ground at a time. And then we can go ahead, plant both our heels, poke our head in between our hands, open up our shoulders, open up our back. And then we can come back to our plank. We're gonna do 3 more of those here. So we're gonna come up, we're gonna make it a little faster, back down, 2 more coming up, and back down, and last one coming back up. And then you can either walk your hands back towards your feet, or you can go ahead, bring your knees to the ground and get ready for our first movement. We are ready to rock and roll. So starting off on the ground, plank to pike with our toe tap. I'm gonna get the timer going here. 3, 2, 1, and go. So 45 seconds here. Hands and toes, making sure our hands are directly below our shoulders and our starting position. And then push our hips up, tap our toe back down. So you can either do just a straight plank to pike where you just push yourself up and back down. You can push as you reach, get some single arm stability here, or you can push once you're stable, then tap and back down. So whatever feels better for you today, as long as we are not letting our hips go below our shoulders. We don't want to be here in our plank, we want to be nice and tall. 3, 2, 1. All right, next up, we have our pike push-ups. So we're staying on the ground. I did all the upper body all at once today, so let's see how this goes. 3, 2, 1. So into our pike position, bringing our head in between our hands as close to the ground as we can, and then pushing back up. So we should feel this one. Our upper back should be working a little bit to keep our back nice and flat. So we should feel a little bit in our lats there. Also going to feel this in our shoulders, in our chest, and a little bit in our triceps. So we're really getting a full upper body workout in this movement here. Keeping our core engaged. So we're exhaling as we push up. 3, 2, 1. All right, last but not least, plank rotations. So either elbows and toes, hands and toes, or hands and knees. 3, 2, 1. I know this is a lot on our hands. So if your wrists are feeling it already, you can either, if you have like some dumbbells, you can have dumbbells and hold onto those so your wrists are more flat. Or I definitely recommend by this one with the plank rotations being on your elbows if your wrists are starting to feel a little bit not so comfortable, which I totally get that because I think mine are kind of getting there too. So keeping our hips nice and level as we open up. This one's going to work a little bit more on our core, on our rotation. And again, single arm and single shoulder, like our shoulder stability here. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right. Let's give our arms a break. Moving on to our legs. We have 1.5 squats here. You can add that pulse at the bottom if you'd like. 3, 2, 1. So feet hip width apart, toes pointing forward for our squat. Coming down as low as we can, halfway up, all the way back down, all the way back up. So making sure we're going as low as we can. Our chest is staying up, wearing our logo proud. Knee is tracking right over our second toe. So the inside part of my knee is coming out, so that way we can get a little bit more depth halfway up, all the way down, all the way back up. Pushing through our whole foot. We're going to feel this in our glutes and in our quads primarily. Great job. 3, 2. Okay, next up, more squats. We're going to do our curtsy lunge with a squat in between when we switch our sides. So we're getting ready here. 3, 2, 1. So taking one leg, we're going back behind diagonal. But as we do that, we want our hips, so headlights on our hips, are straight in front of us. That's going to help us really use our front leg versus here. We're going to feel that more in our knee versus our glute. So keeping those hips forward, knee comes forward, just like our squat, stepping into, again, our squat form. And then same thing, back behind diagonal, hips are forward, chest is over the arch of our front foot. From this angle, we're here. It should, our working leg, so my front leg right now should look exactly the same as it does when I'm squatting. Same movement here. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, our wall sit or squat hold. And then we're going to be back at the top for 2 more rounds. 3, 2, 1. So if we're doing a wall sit, we want to be about 90 degrees here. So if I was at a wall, this is kind of what I look like. We're using the wall to keep us up. If we are not using the wall, we're getting to the bottom of our squat. We're holding that position for the whole time. So we're focus on your breath. If you really, sometimes when I'm doing something like this, like holding it for a long time, I'm getting uncomfortable, or a plank. Planks honestly make me are a little bit more uncomfortable for me than like squats are. But I really like to focus on inhaling and counting my breaths, right? So if I inhale for a few seconds, 3, 2, 1. All right. Round 1 is done. 2 more to go. Back to our hands and toes. Let's give our legs a break. 3, 2, 1. All right, so we got plank toe taps first. Keeping our pelvis tucked, so butt is towards our belly button. Hands are underneath our shoulders. And we're screwing our hands into the ground so our upper back is nice and flat. Exhaling as we push our hips up. Great job. Keeping our hands under our shoulders. And again, we're nice and straight here. So in my plank, my hips, my shoulders, and my heels are all level. That way we're using our core. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, pike push-ups. So we're going to have that same pike position, bringing our head in between our arms. 3, 2, 1. Tuck your toes, making sure as we're doing our push-up, our elbows are not coming straight out. Our elbows are going towards our legs. That's going to help protect our shoulder joints and really make sure that we're using more our muscles versus, or even not just our muscles, but our larger muscle groups. So our chest muscles, our back muscles versus just our shoulder joint, because our shoulder joints are not that big. So we want to protect our shoulders, strengthen everything else and our shoulders here. 3, 2, 1. All right, last upper body movement here. Plank rotations. So if you want to give your wrists a break, go ahead, go down to those elbows. 3, 2, 1. I kind of wish I grabbed a mat for this one so I can move to my elbows, but live and learn. Mainly did not grab a mat because then I feel like we wouldn't be able to see me since I am wearing all black today. Really keeping our hips level. We don't want to be rotating up here. We want our butts down one straight flat line, opening up. Getting our hips as square as we can. Exhaling as we rotate. It's going to help us really exhale and bring our ribs and our core down and together. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay, let's give our arms a break. We got our 1.5 squats coming up first. 3, 2, 1. All right, feet hip width apart. All the way down. When we come up into our half squat, we don't want to be more. We can be between 1/4 and 3/4 of our squat. We want to stay in that sweet spot. So we don't want to be here or be a little lower. We want to at least feel our quads and our glutes firing the whole time. So the purpose of this is to keep constant tension. We have a longer time under tension to really recruit more muscle fibers and gain more strength versus just doing a straight squat going up and down. 3, 2, 1. All right, awesome job. Next up, curtsy lunge with our squat in between. And then we're gonna do our hold, and we got one more round. It's flying by today. 3, 2, 1. So again, back behind diagonal, hips are forward into our squat. So making sure even when we are doing this squat in between that we're not stepping out super far. Want to have our feet hip width a little bit wider if we need to. So that way we can get the depth we need to really get the most out of the movement here. So pressing through our whole foot, heel, big toe, little toe. Great job. Move this way so we can all look. Pushing through our front foot here. I almost forgot my squat. 3, 2, 1. I just cracked. Okay. Last but not least, our wall sit or squat hold. And then we only have one more round left. 3, 2, 1. All right. So getting comfortable, but getting also uncomfortable here. Holding in this position is not that easy. So really, again, like I was saying last time, just focus on your breath. So what I like to do is I inhale, I count my seconds. So maybe we inhale for 3 seconds, we exhale for 4 or 5. Not only is that going to help keep our mind off of it and just focus on our breath and breathing, but it's also going to allow us to really like be in tune with our bodies and relax our mind a little bit. Because sometimes when we, not sometimes, but when we make our exhales longer than our inhales, it can really kind of tap into our rest and digest here. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right. We are in the last round. Plank to pike with our toe tap is first. 3, 2, 1. All right. On our hands and toes here. And we are tapping one toe at a time. Exhaling as we come up, making sure we're in one straight line at our plank. Great job, keep pushing. We're really doing great today. I know it's a lot to do all upper body and all lower body at the same time, but I wanted to have a little bit different format today. 3, 2, 1. Which if you were here yesterday, we also did something similar in terms of planning yesterday with all upper body and then all lower body. All right, we got pike push-ups here. 3, 2, 1. I will tell you tomorrow is not planned out like that. So we already do a little bit more cardio at the end tomorrow. I just wanted to do strict strength today so we can really just focus on our body weight movements, our functional strength here, really working on our upper body and core at the same time. And then working our lower body and getting just a little bit more isometric work and a little bit more time under tension today. Great job. Keep pushing. We're almost there. 3, 2, 1. All right. We are done with our pike push-ups for today. Last upper body movement, plank rotations. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Hands and toes. Hands and knees. Or elbows and toes. I will say I do prefer the elbows because it really allows more. I think it really forces you to use your core a little bit more as you rotate versus your hands. I know personally when I do it on my hands, I feel like my shoulders a little bit more. So really just whatever you're really looking to get out of this movement and really out of class today, whether you want more core strength, more shoulder strength, or both. It kind of just depends, or changing your hand placement will change how you feel the movement. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Check them off. Done with those. We got lower body left, starting with our 1.5 squats. 3, 2, 1. All right. So we got this, and then curtsy lunges, and then our holds. And then we are going to cool down with some figure 4 today. So we're going to be left flat on our backs for our cool down. Again, all the way down, halfway up, all the way down, all the way up. You can always make this more challenging with some weight. I probably should have said that in a different round than the last one. But really focusing. You can even take this time to move a little bit slower to make it more challenging for you as well. More time. 3, 2, 1. The slower you go, the more time under tension you get. So it makes it more challenging. But we're done with those. We got curtsy lunge to squat. 3, 2, 1. Right, back behind diagonal. Hips are forward. Good job. Even on this one, moving a little bit slower, makes it a little bit more challenging. I like to go a little bit slower on my right leg with curtsy lunge because as y'all may or may not know, my right side is a little bit slower to catch up in terms of being awake. Doing what feels good for you. Knees over the second toe. Good job. Keeping those hips forward. 3, 2, 1. All right. Done with those for today. Last up, wall sit or our squat hold. And then, like I said, we are going to be on the ground for some figure 4. 3, 2, 1. All right. Okay, see y'all this time. So we're in the bottom of our squat here. We're up against the wall, focusing on our breath. You can even start to think maybe about something you're grateful for today. I like to do these things. If we were all in person, I would ask you what the highlight of your day so far has been or your week. Again, to get your mind off of what we are doing, but to still focus on holding and using our muscles. So let's go ahead. Think of 3 things that you're grateful for. Kind of hold on to those. That can bring some positivity into the end of our workout. 3, 2, 1. And that is going to be it for us today. Awesome job. Go ahead and grab a sip of water if you need it. And like I said, we're going to be on the ground. We're going to do some figure 4. I'll do a little on each leg. And then we can be on our way for the rest of this lovely Wednesday. So laying flat on the ground here. We're going to take one of our ankles, cross it over the opposite knee. And if that tension feels good, go ahead and stay there. Or we can go ahead and interlace our fingers, grabbing in the middle of our hamstring or in front of our shin, and then pulling our knee towards our chest. We're going to do some big inhales here through our nose into our belly. And exhaling, sighing away our tension. Go ahead and do one more breath here. And as you finish your exhale, we can go ahead and gently release out of that. And when we're ready, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So other ankle over our knee. And if that tension feels good, go ahead and stay there. We can go ahead and interlace our fingers, grabbing either in the middle of our hamstring or in front of our shin, and pulling our knee towards our chest. Breathing into our tight areas, releasing our tension as we exhale, and just let your shoulders relax and your body relax here. It can help us get a little bit of a mental reset before we get back to our work day. We're gonna go ahead and do one more breath here. As we finish our exhale, we can go ahead and bring both our feet back to the ground. And feel free to stay laying on the ground with whatever you would like, or you can return to a seated, kneeling, or standing position, but that is going to be all the time I have for us today. So great job, everyone. I know it was a lot of upper body all at one time, so we did awesome today. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and I'll see y'all again tomorrow for Exercise with Excel.